and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I am Sakshi Batra and this is BTS, that's Behind the Scenes, a show where we share a sneak peek into the latest edition of the Business Today magazine with all our viewers. On this show, joining in with me are my colleagues Prerna Lidhoo, and also joining in is Vidya S, who've really put in a lot of effort to bring this special issue out. And now I'm going to show you a glimpse of this special edition as well. Here I have my copy and you can actually see the most powerful women in business. This is a special edition which we bring out annually, and this is the time when you actually see a whole host of women on the cover of this special edition. So you have Devika Bulchandani, the global CEO of Ogilvy here. You have Namita Thakur, the executive director of Omcure Pharmaceuticals, Ananya Birla. You have the founder of Swatantra Microfinance, singer Prabha Narasimhan, and also the MD and CEO of Colgate Palmolive is also on the cover as well. Let me kickstart this discussion first with Vidya. You tell us, how is this year's MPW list really looking different than the previous few years? Of course, it's the 20th year. It all started way back into 2003. And tell us, how all these issues year after year have seen participation of more and more women now in business.
Thank you, Sakshi, for having me. And you rightly said that this is the 20th edition of the BT NPW. So this started way back in 2003, and ever since our list has grown every year. If you see, even about a decade ago, we had only half the number of women on the list, and today we have something like 56 winners on our list, and these are women achievers from across categories, from across sectors. They're from pharmaceutical, entertainment, manufacturing, automotives, and you name it, and they're there on that list. So we have 56 women this time, and they're all achievers, and they've all added significantly to their companies, to the sectors that they represent, and also in an individual capacity, they've overcome a lot of personal struggles and conquered to get to where they are now. And if you see, by no means is this, even despite having 56 winners on the list this time, this has been by no means an exhaustive list, because there are so many more trailblazers out there that we have been unable to chronicle in this list simply because of a lack of space. And also, we look at women achievers who've been in their current position at least for a year. So that leaves out many, many women achievers from our list. But that's why we've had an additional category this year where we've listed some people to watch out for who will become very strong contenders for the winning category next year. So we have 5 women on that list this year as well. So yes, that's put together. It's a lot of women achievers and a lot of work that they have done. And additionally, if you see, our list has also undergone quite a bit of a shuffle this year, because we've had 6 seasoned professionals graduating to what we call as our Hall of Fame. It is a very coveted position to be in, where after having won the award 7 times, they make way for newer winners to come into the category, which means they will no longer be considered for the main list next year onwards. But to keep the balance, you had 7 new entrants into the list this year. So it's quite a bit of a shuffle that you're seeing on our list this year. And a lot of stories and a lot of profiles and a lot of individual tales, a lot been packed into this issue for any reader. And we hope that it inspires both men and women to achieve their dreams.
Absolutely, Vidya. There's another story that you've actually done on the women in the corporate boards. Tell us, what are the insights you can share from this story?
That's right. So there is a story on women and on corporate boards. So if you look at the workforce, despite the fact that we have something like 56 winners, that about half a century on our list, but if you look at the workforce and the gender diversity in the workforce, so it's quite a sobering reality actually, and more so at the top level. If you see, we have something about 22% women in the workforce and about 18% women on the boards. And even that is thanks to a guideline brought out by SEBI about 10 years ago, where it mandated that every corporate board should have at least one woman director on its
Yeah.
board. So since then, in the decade or so that we've since had that rule, the number you see has actually tripled. Now we started with something like 6% women on corporate boards when way back in 2013, and now we're at 18%. So that's quite heartening to see. It's the tripling. But if you scratch the surface, you'll see a lot of trends that come up, which show a slightly sobering picture. For instance, a lot of the boards have exactly one woman director, just to fill the mandatory requirement. So about
Yes.
something like 60% of the companies in India have exactly one woman director. So they become the lone voice in a room full of men, and sometimes they struggle to get their point across. And if you see, a lot of them on the other end of the spectrum, it's the same set of women that gets circulated across many of these boards, because the pool is so small to choose from. So they refer. In fact, there's even a term called the golden skirts,
Sure.
referring to the same set of distinguished women who get circulated across all these boards. Thankfully, the problem in India is not as bad as it is in countries like Norway and the UK, where one woman is known to have hold 25 to 35 directorships, but we do have a fair amount of concentration there as well. Plus, if
Okay.
you see a lot of
Yeah.
companies also resort to bringing in their family and their friends or people that they know very well onto board positions. So there are some of these issues that need to be addressed. But in the
Yes.
overall, if you see, there's been a heartening change in terms of the representation on the boards in corporate India.
Absolutely. In the family business, more and more women getting in is something that we will continue to focus on. And right, you pointed out, Vidya, a lot of sectors have actually seen an increasing number of women now participating on corporate boards as well, and which is very, very heartening to see. Prerna, you have written stories on the entertainment sector, how women have clearly participated in a big way in this space as well. Your story is titled Lights, Camera and Affirmative Action on the status of women working here. Share with us some of the insights that you've got here.
Sure. Thank you, Sakshi. First of all, let me start with the fact that it's always a delight to work on an issue like this,
Yes.
because it's always very positive. We see these change makers, these inspire young women to get into different categories. Coming to entertainment, however, there was a time when only except the actress, there was, no other technician, no other creative person on field. I spoke to Aparna Purohit, who heads originals, Southeast Asia originals and India originals for Amazon Prime Video, and she in fact told me that when she used to go 20 years back on the sets, she was termed as someone who's creating a problem or a trouble just for asking for a basic toilet or a changing room. So I think obviously the industry has come a long way from that. We have Aarti Vijay, who's a great editor. We have people like Guneet Monga now, who's a producer now, but these are still very few, and obviously these anecdotes don't tell us the extent of problem that there is, which is why we have to sort of rely on ample data.
Yes.
I spoke to Ormax, which has come up with a report, and they actually point out that in the leadership positions, in the HOD positions, 780 positions that were analyzed, only 12% were held by women, which is an appalling number. And there's also a very interesting insight. When a team is led by women, the improvement from last year, 2021 to 2022, has been seen from 17 to 22%. But when a team is led by a man, there's actually been a fall of 8 to 7%, which means that women hire more women. So I think the data clearly points out to the fact that there is enough room for improvement when it comes to more women in powerful and HOD positions. And also, if you go regional, you see another trend, which is again very appalling. If you look at Hindi language films and series, there is 70% representation of women in HOD positions. And whereas when it comes to the southern states, Kannada and Malayalam lack majorly in terms of just 4% of women HOD representation. So I think there is enough headroom for growth, and of course lists like these to acknowledge women who have made it will inspire more women to get, and more women should also hire more women. And I think that's how the positive change we will see, even in terms of the content as well as the overall ecosystem developing for better. That's what I would think.
Okay, we've discussed a lot of problems here also, but what can be done now, Prerna, to really see visible change on ground really take place? What are the solutions that you've spoken about to some people for your stories here?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to underline that the solutions that we come up with have to be India-specific solutions. Yeah. For example, if you look outside, in countries like US and Canada, a lot of movies are made by government grants, and which is why they sort of mandate 30% or 33% of women on set. We can't do that in India, because I spoke to Guneet Monga, who's an Oscar winner who has done all of us proud, and she said that even Zoya Akhtar believes that we're not doing charity. We can't just hire women for the sake of it.
Sure.
So it has to be we have to give them a proper chance to stand for that position, to get them to that interview position and level, but that's about it. They have to sort of make their way, and that's a very important insight that I got through this story, that even women at HOD positions, be it Jyoti Deshpande, who handles Geo Studios Mantle now, so now they all believe that it's not a charity work, and in India, even if it's not mandated by the government, then even they are sort of running a business. They have to make money. So number one is that we definitely desperately need things like safe spaces for women,
Yeah.
better work environment for women. These are realistic changes that we can actually do, and these are on-ground changes that can actually, help us see better results, and maybe even that ORMAX report will change over the years. But yeah, we can't depend on government grants, and we can't, depend on others to make the change. Like for example, Aparna Purohit again from Amazon Prime was telling me that she has mandated that 30% women in HOD positions have to be, people in HOD positions have to be women. So these are smaller steps that you can actually take. Affirmative action would sort of go a long way in this regard to make sure that there are enough women decision makers, and they will obviously, like we saw in the data before, that they will obviously make sure that there are more women and better, more powerful positions for them. So I think, yeah, that is the unanimous voice from every woman that I spoke to, that women also have to take up challenging roles, because entertainment
Yes.
is not a very easy industry to be in, and not just creative fields. I think women should also look at technical jobs, like there's just one lighting woman in the whole industry. Can you believe in? And that too because her father was a lighting person. So I think that women should start small, and they should start with like technical roles, editing, lighting positions, art direction and stuff like that, and which is why there will be like an entire ecosystem that will blossom, and not just look at creative roles as first. That was the insight that I got from my conversation.
Okay, so those are fair enough insights. Well, thanks a lot then, Prerna, and thanks a lot, Vidya, for sharing such wonderful insights for all of our viewers. And this is one issue that is going to be really giving you a lot of insights into the way women are leading their own fields in various fields. And of course, despite all the challenges, they are breaking through the barriers. There are stories of inspiration that you as women viewers should definitely read on, and all the male viewers also should go ahead and read this, so that you also get as inspired by these very, very interesting stories that have been put into this very, very special edition. And a lot of work has been done by Prerna and Vidya and the entire team of Business Today. Well, with that, we will wrap up this special edition. Many thanks for tuning in, but do stay tuned on to Business Today Television, as a whole lot of action continues on the other side for your screens.